Aloha and welcome to the Libertarian Party of Hawaii Executive Committee meeting. It is 7:10 p.m. on Wednesday, May 27th, and I'm calling this meeting to order. Madam Secretary, could you please do the roll call?
Austin Martin,
Aloha, present.
Nicholas Zehr.
Present.
I'm Abbra Green. I'm present. Celina Monge.
Here.
Excellent. And we have Mr. Skoland is traveling in Argentina right now and is not available with us, but our thoughts are with him, and hopefully he has wonderful and safe travels. Cool. We'll move on to the approval of the minutes from last meeting. Is there any discussion on the minutes? Hearing none, I'll move us to a vote. Is there any objection to the minutes as presented? Hearing none, pass without objection. Moving on to the agenda. Is there any discussion or amendments to propose to the agenda? There. Hearing none, I'll move us to the question. Going once, going twice. Oh, was there something that we wanted to add that we
did it already.
You did it already.
Oh, yeah, I should mention that it is different than written in the email. We added the discussion with Mr. Zeeman tonight.
Okay, excellent. All right, cool. And we put that first so that we can get you out of here. I'm going to do a convention update for my chair's report, but I'll leave it at that. All right, agenda question. Anybody have any objection to the agenda as presented? Hearing none, passes without objection. As I was saying earlier, before we got started in the recording, the postmortem on the convention is very interesting. Results that should shock libertarians. You know, what Dr. Horton got up and said at convention was profound and proven completely accurate, kind of before our eyes, which is, troubling. But I've been comparing it to the Alamo. You know, the last stand of the Alamo was a victory that cost the Mexican army everything, right? And ultimately they lost the war partly arguably because of that strategic defeat, if you will. Even though their last stand was not successful, it led to the breaking of Santa Anna's armies, or so the history books say. Anyway, the postmortem on this, I worked really hard during the convention to form a region, and we reformed Region 1. And we have a fellow Region 1 chair in here, Miss Sonja. Thank you so much for being with us. Sonja Feintech is how you say it. And yeah, we have a list of chairs. Let me pull them up for you guys so you know, or a list of states. Pardon me as I navigate here. We have Alaska, Tennessee, Oregon, New Mexico, Nebraska, Montana, Mississippi, Minnesota, Kentucky, Idaho, and Hawaii, of course. And that accounts for about 10.1314% of the entire national membership in our region. And so these states are states that align closely with getting the work done and doing what needs to be done in our world of libertarian politics to move the needle, to make real world liberty, and to really put powerful momentum on getting candidates elected, but not just blindly throwing resources at elections, but really leveraging the power of our voting bloc and the power of our position as the third party to accomplish political outcomes. So we're excited to be working with these state chairs, and we are really excited to see what we can do. They elected me unanimously as the region representative, and I'm honored by that. They elected Sonja Feintech as our regional alternate. So we will be tending to the LNC in its broken state. And this is cool because regional members are not like the other members of the LNC. They cannot be removed by a simple, vote, if you will, of the committee. Rather, it's the state chairs who they answer to. So the states of our region are closely aligned, and we know what we want and have a common goal on that, which makes it really easy for us to work together. And we're going to keep doing that and make sure that we keep advocating for an LP National that is not in our way. For those of you who don't know, we have had activism and state issues where nationals' involvement would either make or break, or better yet, places where they've interfered with us on the state level. Um, and we've had to like protect ourselves, and other states feel the same. And the goal is to keep national functional, make it actually work for us rather than having it be a liability to what we're doing. And for those of you concerned about the time commitment on that, I want to just highlight how wonderfully we did during this crazy last season. Um, During our legislative activism of this year, um, we absolutely rocked the House. We have, and the Senate, of course. Um, we hit, and I'm pulling up these rates here on my screen. But I don't want to make Abbra switch from taking notes, so I'm going to just read these to you. In 2025, we were tracking slash testifying on 93 bills, and out of those, we had 72 successes. Right, that's 21 failures for a success rate of 77.42%. This year, we tracked and testified on 274 bills. We had 208 successful fights, 66 failures for a success rate of 75.9%. And this year we got versions of Defend Hawaii through the House and the Senate. There's minimal differences. They did not reconcile them in time to get it on the governor's desk. But
percentage on that?
the percentage was 75.9% for success.
That's a little bit of a guess, but it's pretty close right now.
Yeah, there are a couple bills that are kind of outstanding. We don't know if they'll get signed into law or not, and that will ultimately affect these numbers, but not much. So these are pretty close to solid. In fact, I can probably go ahead and just drop this in the chat for you guys here in just a second. But what we did was we had an incredibly powerful impact on the Hawaii legislature. Even though we don't have anyone elected, we had the influence of having maybe a couple people in there. Um, and that's powerful. That's incredible. That's something that a small party like ours, we're punching way above our weight class. So I wanted to thank the volunteers who led on that and everybody who contributed on that. We had over 15 volunteers helping us with the legislative efforts, which resulted in us getting a heck of a lot more done this year. So we look forward to this growing this, and other states are going to be adopting the model that we've been pioneering. And we're really excited to share it with them. We've been making handbooks. So this is just an overwhelming triumph for liberty that has been pioneered here. And, you know, if we can get some of these volunteers to sign up and run for office next session, they're going to enjoy an incredible advantage having spent face time in the legislature, having actually showed face in the halls of decision making, right? And showing their voter base, the influential activists, the decision makers themselves, like a kind of job interview. They show what they're made of, what they stand for, and how viable they would be if they were in that seat, right? So it's a powerful tool that we're using and activating. And you know, we had an initiative that we authored and suggested that went all the way through the legislative process to the very tiptoe of the finish line, which is just incredible success. So I'm sorry for rambling so long about it, but our people who worked on this worked really hard. It was a lot of time that they dedicated, and while I did a lot of it, I'll tell you, I really feel like Abbra and Nick were carrying the lion's share of this thing, and I just wanted to give them my most sincere, warmest, and most respectful aloha for the real world impact that you've had on liberty and keeping people freer and making Hawaii better. Thank you guys so much. Um, on anything, any questions about convention or about state programs or anything else that I can answer, and if not, I'll hand the floor over to Mr. Treasurer. All right, Mr. Treasurer, you have the floor, sir. Thank you guys for listening to me.
Hey, this is Nick Zehr, the treasurer. Just brief treasurer report. So no change to the FPC balance. For the CSC, which is our state account, we have an increase of $169. Very minimal spending. In this past month, we had one increase for PayPal, and we had our main charge for the month, which was Wix on May 27th. For CSC and FEC reporting, we are still good to go for the reporting timeline. For CSC, I'm going to make sure to have the organizational report updated on time for the July 24th. One other thing I wanted to mention before turning it over is, so I was pulling through the numbers. I'm going to put my report on the Facebook post that we discussed earlier, but as far as candidate filing and pulling numbers for Hawaii, they don't have any uncontested districts for House this year. There are 11 for Senate. Think ones that there's only one candidate running. There's 4 for Senate, and there's about 14 for representative. So I just wanted to put that tidbit in there. But any questions, that concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Treasurer. Are there any questions from anyone? I have one. My understanding is that on some of these races, you don't technically have to be a full-blown resident. Some of them have harder residency requirements than others. And so it's been known for out-of-state candidates to occasionally run. Is that correct?
No, that's a good question. I don't know. Can definitely look that up, and we can discuss later in the meeting.
It would be interesting because we only need 25 signatures for most races, which is redonkulously achievable. And I bet there's people who might be interested in a run like that. I think they would need a real interest here. I don't think they can be completely remote. But I'd love to know what the specifics on that are.
I feel like we would want them to have an interest here too.
I would want them to be here personally, but I'm just curious.
Yeah.
I'd like to know what the options are. I'm not saying we should do that, but I can think of some things that we might be able to do if we did, concede, or endorse drop, for an out-of-state candidate. That's, I don't know. I don't like it. It doesn't feel good. But anyway, I'm just sorry. I curiosity, forgive me. Let me get back on track here. Any other questions for the treasurer? All right, hearing none, we'll move on to our next item, which is a discussion with Aaron Zeeman. Thank you, Mr. Zeeman, for being with us today. I don't want to introduce you incorrectly, and I'm not 100% sure on my recall on this because I do not have the paper on where I wrote down the notes that I made for that. So if it's okay, I'll let you go ahead and introduce yourself. You have the floor, sir.
All right. Aloha, everybody. Your discussion, just a little pre-meeting minutes and all that you're making here is, wow, it's pretty interesting. And then well, let me just give you a little bit of information about me first. My dog is messing with me. My name is Aaron Zeeman. I'm an inventor and civic technologist based on the Big Island. I've been building a solution to a problem most people just complain about. And tonight, I want to show you guys what I built and why the Libertarian Party of Hawaii is the perfect partner to bring it to life. Okay, and it starts with the ZDE, the Zeeman Democracy Engine. Is my invention, and it tracks what citizens want versus what their government does permanently, publicly, and nobody can hide from it. And what I'm talking about is a thing I call the Civic Mirror, and it's a website, and it's the Zeeman democracy engine, manifested and made real, right? And I built this, you guys, from a zero budget. I secured a domain at shadowdemocracy.org, and I have a working prototype already live. I can show you guys. Okay. Also, I have a white paper. A full white paper exists. Problem, solution, architecture, deployment strategy. Done. I have that. I can get that to you instantly. And then the whole thing really works. The premise of this is the Pono engine, and that's really important. It's about doing this right, making things right, doing it the right way. And the Pono engine, patent pending, I'm proud to say, by the way, is a 192 item AI governance rule set. All right. It covers reasoning integrity, truth classification, deception detection, error correction, and execution fidelity. That's the difference. It's I could deploy that on any capable LLM, right? Any AI system. And this is what keeps the whole platform honest, right? There's no spin, there's no bias, no hallucinations. It's literally manipulation proof. And you might want to know, well, how the hell is that possible? Well, let me tell you. Uh, we have these technologies. We've had them. They just haven't been put together yet, right? With this vision that I have, which is so in line with the Libertarian Party and doing things Pono. Like Ho'oponopono. I'm sure you guys know what that is. Anyway, it's the blockchain. If you think about it, every vote secured on a decentralized ledger, right? If you have that, it's tamper proof. Every citizen gets their own personal receipt. Nobody can alter the record, not the government, not me, nobody. Just can't be done. And so the AI is governed, right? It's not like the AI runs loose. It runs under the Pono engine rule set. Every analysis is verified. Every claim is traceable, right? Truth is built in to the architecture. It's not like after the fact. It's how it works, and it's for the people. See, uh, plain English explanations of like every government decision are given in AI. Personalized, right? Like for each person, they can have their own, vision on how they're looking at it. But there's no political filter. You can't tell anybody, oh, I want to hear it from a Democratic or a Libertarian point of view. That just doesn't happen. It has no bias basically, and so the best part about the shadow democracy and the civic mirror is it's for liberty. We don't need any government permission to run this, right? It holds power accountable from the outside, right? That's the whole point. So, I have more on this. There's an ask, of course. I've done all this with no money. I have built the Pono engine patent pending, and it's a serious thing. And I need to patent the Zeeman democracy engine right now, and a couple other things. I sent a paper over via email already, so you guys can have that. You can take a look at that. And this is something that the Libertarian Party can get behind, and it really talks about everything that the Libertarian Party talks about: transparency, right, accountability, and all the rest. And the whole thing about we can vote from home, we can vote from our phones. Everybody can get an update on what's going on. And they can have it explained to them in plain English. They can have it explained to them in their language. A farmer over here hears about things that apply to him. A teacher over here, you know what I'm saying? Whatever you happen to be and what you happen to do. And it allows everybody to interject, right? And this is a thing that we run. We can run it right now, right? And then later we have counties adopt this. Because if you think about it, you guys, we're comparing what they do versus what the people want. We give the input right to the website. And so if you're doing what the people want, at some point they're going to be, hey, look, the Civic Mirror says I got an 89%, overlap with what the people really want. And so there you go. Or my opponent does it. They never do what you want them to do, what you elected them to do, and let the record stand. And at some point, somebody's going to adopt that, because this is like almost like instant polling. And you guys might, if you think about it, you'll come up to the point where you're like, well, there's a lot of data. And there's a lot of data that can be gleaned. It has value. It could have,
Thank you, Mr. Zeeman.
financial value and all that.
If
But
it's
what we
okay,
do is we
I'm
go ahead.
gonna have to move us along here in just a minute, but I'd like to
Oh,
have
that
a
was
chance
it.
to let people ask you
Okay.
some questions if there's any questions from
Okay.
our group. If that's okay.
Thank
Sorry
you.
to cut you off. Yeah, no
No
worries.
problem.
Thank
No
you.
problem.
Hey, I have a question.
Yes,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Zehr.
Hey, so first, just wanted to say this is really cool, especially like we've talked about stuff similar on our committee with, I think, last election cycle we did candidate questionnaires to see like the freedom level of each candidate, and then we talked about looking through like their vote records now that they've been in a couple years, see like how close are they to representing what they said that they would represent, and then we could say like, hey, do we really support them going again, because now we have some proof of what they were doing. So I think that's really cool.
Right.
But for your platform, what governs it?
Well, like I said, it's the Pono engine, patent pending. And
Okay,
like I said, it's a rule
gotcha.
set along with like 9 sub things. There's a patent pending on it right now. I have a white paper for that as well as for the Zeeman democracy engine. And like I said, I have a website up right now. It's not fully functional, but you can get an idea of what the interface would be for the public.
Thank you.
Right on. Thank you. Any other questions?
Sure, I have a question.
Hey, what's
Go
up,
right ahead.
Nicholas?
What would you think of for this idea? What would you think of also implementing and working with other accountability and transparency organizations such as OpenSecrets.org or Track APAC?
Oh man, 100% for anybody, everybody, all of them. Bring them on. Bring it on. Absolutely. Are you kidding me? The more the merrier. There's nothing to hide, man. This is all about transparency. 100%. You can't, I mean, that's what. If you learn the system, that I've built, you will see that it's in the actual architecture. We have load bearing stuff. There's no opinion or bias is at all a part of any of this. And all the data is all sourced directly from the source, from the county, from the state, wherever it is. That's where we get from. That's where we scrape it from. That's where, there's no way that we can alter what it takes or how it takes it. It just doesn't work like that. Right. And we have AI watching that with the Pono engine. And if you learn more about the Pono engine, it's all about Ho'oponopono. And it's about finding something, admitting when you're wrong, resolving it, and moving on, or a spirit of love, straight up, or aloha.
Thank you.
I
That's
think that's
awesome.
really important. Right. I've reduced hallucination and drift in LLMs to as low as 0.02%. If anybody knows what that is, you might have an understanding about what I've done here.
Well, that's pretty impressive. That's I'm definitely interested to see. I'll be reading the stuff that you sent, and
Super.
I really appreciate you taking the time to address our
Well, I
committee.
like what
Any
you
other
guys are doing,
questions?
and I'd be glad to answer any questions now or later.
Cool. Are there any further questions?
No, but I forwarded the email to Abbra, and then I'm on my phone right now, and so I don't have everyone's email. So maybe she could forward that to everybody.
Yeah, I'll
Right.
send it
And
out after the meeting.
excuse me. I have a white paper for the Pono engine, and I have a white paper for the Zeeman democracy engine and how they work, including deployment and everything. I have a 4-county pilot program, one here, I think, one in Hawaii, and a couple on the mainland. And once this thing is built, it can be scaled. You don't have to pay anymore because we could just automatically in every county, it can run independently like a node, the same machine.
What's your next step in bringing this about?
Well, I've worked on the website, and I'll send you a link. You can check it out. It's not completely functioning. It's not scraping all the information and parsing, all the issues. But that I want to finish that. I've already put $1,300 of into the credit on that already, or working with Famous AI, by the way, if you want to know. But this could also be made by any other IT tech with AI to put it together. So I want to get that up and running. And what you guys may or may not know, I don't take up too much of your time, but I got 2 legal actions right now against the county, corporation council, and the county council right now to stop their general plan 2045. Initially, it was also 2024. I'm sorry, 2026. And because they haven't been doing the right process and just trying to slip stuff by going against the charter. And I also have a case with the Hawaii State Supreme Court, and I filed a writ of mandamus because they weren't doing their ministerial duty. And I have court case numbers for both of those, and I've done all that legal work all myself, pro se. And so, what we would like to do is have this thing going, the website going whenever we can, so we could put all of this information about the general plan, all the other things that the county council is doing over here on the island, and let people have a look, and then just record what they do and make it a matter of record. So, and building that up until we get more, people interacting with it, right, with some sort of outreach program by going to, churches and community meetings, letting people know this is accessible and it's free, right? And so we have something working, and then we get leverage because it serves as a tool to the legislators, to the people on county council also, as well as the people. And so eventually somebody champions it, and we get a county council somewhere, his county or some other county, to adopt it as an official thing, which it totally fits what you'll see in the white paper, and the beginning of a movement. And eventually, county by county, we can change how things work. And then sooner or later, some state somewhere will want to adopt it because of the transparency and the way that it makes the government work for the will of the people. And you get way more engagement. So now your voter base for the Libertarian Party increases exponentially if you think about it, if this is being adopted and this is something that's been promoted by the Libertarian Party, because that's what it is. The whole idea behind it that I'm doing this is about what you guys are all about, your principles in the Libertarian Party. I've
Yes,
always loved the
sir.
Libertarian Party, and so you
Thank you
guys might
so
want to
much.
follow
No,
through on this a little bit.
I really love you mentioned about your opposition of the general plan, and I want to thank you for that because that's something we
Oh
really care
man,
about. We gotta
well,
stop
I
that
could use some help with
nonsense.
that. I could use some support. You guys, we could work together because I got a court date on July 15th here in Hilo, and we also have the Supreme Court acknowledge that. And I've already written 3 supplementals in addition to that, and I
Feel
got more
free
coming up.
Feel free to share that. Go ahead and drop that in the chat or send us an email. I'm going to move our meeting along, but I'm really grateful that
Thank you.
you're taking the time to stand up and really put in the effort to make Hawaii more free and to stop the crazy WEF agenda, the Agenda
Yes,
2030 nonsense that they're trying to shove down
yes,
our
right.
throats. So
Amongst other things.
thank you
Yes,
so
thank
much
you.
for that and much love. Thank you for taking the time to address this committee, and we're definitely looking forward to talking to you again. Um, Moving
All
us
right, thank
along
you.
here on the next order of business regarding LPMN. Guys, so I learned of a situation last year in my duties as an LNC alternate that Minnesota has a horrible situation due to state law and LNC ambivalence. They have a very narrow window of time to get their ballot access signatures necessary to get their candidates on the ballot. They have good candidates and they have a history of doing a really good job. In fact, they've got tens of thousands of registered libertarians. They're rocking it. Actually, I'm not sure what their number is. I might be understating it, but I think tens of thousands is fair. They're really doing a good job on a lot of things. They're reaching out. They're doing issue coalitions, and they're really not interested in the infighting or the crazy liability overhead of the LNC. But like us, they know that it's a battle that you can't afford to ignore. So Rebecca Whiting gave and she's the chair of LPMN. She gave a really compelling speech at the convention, which I was moved by, and it supported the work that I've been doing and that we started in the LPHI of dealing with a persistent problem in the Libertarian Party with subversive behavior and subversivity. Is that what we should say? And some of the NGO ecosystems that surround the liberty movement. And we've brought a light onto that. There is an interesting, like, new paradigm emerging, and thanks to work from people like Dr. Horton, and including from the libertarians who hold the line, like Rebecca Whiting. And I just wanted to, especially like on foreign conflicts and on non-intervention, I really appreciate that. Anyway, the long story short, the Libertarian Convention always occurs during their 2-week ballot access window, right? And so they have to pay big money to get signatures to get people on the ballot, or they have to otherwise get a ridiculous amount of footwork, right? So these things act as a barrier. So their participation in national and showing support for our region and all of that comes at an incredible price to them. They actually asked me if I was willing to help them petition, and I'm not really able to do that. I'm not in a position where I can just afford to go do that. But I did say that there is something that I could try to do. And so I wanted to bring this before you guys. We're pretty flush with cash right now. And they have $7,000 that they've already put towards this initiative. I wanted to move that we give them a significant amount to add to that. That will help them afford some petitioners on the ground to help them get some candidates in some higher level races and get some more local candidate qualifications at the same time. And those work synergistically the way that they do their petitioning. I wanted to find out how you guys feel about this. I won't be mad if you shoot me down, but I would love to help Minnesota. I tried to push to, slightly alter the LNC like schedule on this, but it could, because it's a state law problem, right? There's nothing that Minnesota can do to change that window. And it's very short. And it really sucks that all their best activists get sucked away to go fight this silly, senseless infighting battle of just occupying our own national party with real libertarians. So we have them to thank at least partly for our ability to have regional representation. And so I wanted to move that we put $1,500 towards their ballot access initiative. We don't spend a lot of money, and we don't have a ton of money coming in either. So considering that, that might be maybe I wanted to feel you guys out on how that sounds and where we're at on is this an expense we can justify? One thing I would point out is that this would be an FEC account expense and would go towards federal elections. And I think it would also go a long way in Minnesota. They're a much bigger party than us, and there's a good chance that if we ever needed help, that would be something that would be remembered. So I want to open the floor if there's a second on this motion. I'm sorry I took so long to speak on it.
Can does the treasurer see anything wrong with that rule wise?
We would have to second it to open it for discussion.
Okay. Yeah, I'll second it for discussion.
Okay, we are open for discussion. Abbra, you can go ahead.
I was just wondering if that comports with all the rules and everything well.
Oh, I would like to by email submit more findings on it. However, from what I've seen with FEC reporting, there is reporting like a specific line on the FEC report for party contributing to another party or the national party. So that is something legitimately that can be accounted for.
Right on. I could probably get Rebecca to come talk to us if it helps.
Mm.
I can definitely give you more information on their ballot access window too. My thought on this is libertarian mutual aid, and if it's I just kind of wanted to feel you guys out on the amount. Like, is that too much given our cash flow, or should I consider a lower?
From
What's
my
our comfort level?
amount wise, I agree that we have 28K in that account and we're not really using it. Like obviously we should put the budget together shortly for convention when we're going over um, this upcoming one this summer. However, I think we're pretty set for cash on the FEC account too. And I do think it's doable.
Okay. On their ballot access window, my understanding is that it's 2 weeks to gather. I think they have 40,000 signatures on their largest races.
2 weeks from.
It started while convention, like around the same time as conventions. They have like another week and a half.
Okay.
So it's a pretty short window, which requires them to pay more for signatures. At the end of the day, it just raises the price on them. So it's a cash issue that's a barrier. And I was really sympathetic when I heard their plight. So I wanted to propose some libertarian mutual aid. Nick, if it helps, we could make the motion conditional on treasurer approval with compliance and more information submitted by the chair of the LPMN. If that would help, that would also help to alleviate any time constraints on it.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I would also say, like, just for like everyone else's buy-in to it, and just have an idea of the impact it would make, like what types of things that they're going to be using funding for. Not like a showstopper, but just so our party sees like what the actual effect of the contribution would help with.
Thank you.
And then that's something we
Excellent.
can brag about too.
I think so. I think it's a nice gesture, especially since
Yeah.
they've had to endure some shit in their state, to be frank. And the national infighting does not help them. And it would be like really, I think it'd be kind of my honor. I feel like I wish I could have gone and petitioned for them. Like that would have been really cool, but I just couldn't make that work. Shoot, guys, let's do this. Can we, Nick, do you want to propose that or Abbra, do you want to propose that as an amendment? That it be conditional on information?
Yeah.
Oh, you got that already. Pending compliance check by treasurers or.
Yeah, sorry, I was going more casual.
You're good. We're super casual. If there's any objection, by all means, slow me down and we can tighten it up a little bit. But is there any objection to the proposed amendment? All right. Passes without objection. Cool. So I'll have Rebecca send information on this, and maybe you send me an email on what exactly, if there's, just in case I don't, glitch out and forget anything important, let me know what it is you're looking for on that as well. And I'll try to get you, I'm thinking like a general description of the ballot access issue, how much they're expecting to pay per signature or whatever data is kind of relevant on the granular level there. And, I'll have that gotten to you. Cool. Okay. We have a motion, an amended motion on the floor. Is there any further discussion on the amended motion?
Oh,
All right, I'll give you a second to rewrite this. We got a second while she's rewriting this. Anybody have any discussion on our mutual aid resolution here? Going once. Going twice. All right. We'll call the question. All those in... I'm sorry, actually, is there any objection to this motion? Save us the time. Going once. Going twice. Passes without objection. Excellent. Cool. All right, we'll move along here to the next item of business. Abbra, I'll give you just a second so you can speak to your motion. All right.
All right. If nobody has seen Mr. Scott Horton's address to the National Convention, you guys should definitely go watch it. But he, based on the research Austin handed over to him, wrote a very excellent speech that basically urged the delegates to have the LNC step away from the International Alliance of Libertarian Parties. It did not pass on the floor. I believe it was within just a few vote margin too that it failed. And my thought behind this is that we, the states, need to let the LNC know how we feel about this alliance and hopefully get other states to voice the same concerns.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All right. Cool. We'll open up discussion. Is there any discussion? I will offer some if there's no objection. I love that. I love the simplicity of this resolution. It will call on the LNC to cut ties with the International Alliance of Libertarian Parties. And I feel like we're not the only state doing this, I found out, by the way. Nobody told us to do this. This was actually Abbra asking me to do it, asking me for the resolution text. And at the same time today, I found out several other states were doing the exact same thing. So really cool organic groundswell of states that are saying no to, hooking up the LP to the National Endowment for Democracy and to the nasty NGO pipelines that are very contrary to our principles. So I don't want to talk too long about it. I just thought I would say I really am glad to see that, and would welcome any discussion or any questions or anything that anybody wants to see. It's a pretty straightforward resolution, and I'll go ahead and ask one more time if there's any further discussion. Hearing none, I can move us to the question. All right. Is there any opposition or objection to this resolution? Going once, going twice. Passes without objection. All right, excellent. I believe that actually concludes the business on the agenda for tonight. The floor is open if anybody wants to make any motions or if anybody wants to make a motion to adjourn.
There is a call to action at the end. I would like to, everyone in the meeting should click on the blue link, the petition to end judicial immunity. We're gathering signatures actively for this one so that we can basically show our representatives that we want this to be passed in Hawaii. So any of your friends who live in Hawaii or family, go ahead and share the link and see how big we can make it grow.
I'll also add that we will be collecting candidate signatures. If you are in a district with a candidate or if there's a statewide race candidate that you can sign for, I will be reaching out to you, which probably is all of us, to get your signature on a signature page. We can help candidates probably coordinate that by maybe asking the Office of Elections for some extra signature pages on each island for like a statewide race. I will get some details on that. I'll probably be going down to the office tomorrow. Call me if you need any details or any assistance with talking to or dealing with the Office of Elections. They're really not that bad in office. It's just the whole counting the votes
They're
thing.
pretty awesome in office.
Yeah, like their customer service is not terrible, except for the whole,
Can
election fraud
you
thing.
Can you add that link in the chat? Because yeah.
Yeah, add that link to the chat. Thank you. All right. I will entertain a motion to adjourn if anyone has one. Or any other motion. So motioned. Is there a second? Objections? Hearing none, we are adjourned. We'll go ahead and end this recording session here. Thank you for joining us online, and aloha.